A massive circular theater with an open roof, thousands of excited people rushing to get a seat, the stage set for some of the greatest plays ever written. This was Shakespeare's home, his dream, his kingdom. At the Globe he performed his greatest works: Hamlet, a story about revenge, madness and fate; Macbeth, a tale of power, ambition and guilt; Othello, a tragic story of love and jealousy; Julius Caesar, a political drama full of betrayal. These plays were not just entertainment, they were powerful stories that made people think, feel and question life itself. And soon Shakespeare's success brought him wealth beyond imagination. By the early 1600s Shakespeare was not just a famous writer, he was one of the richest playwrights in England. He owned shares in the Globe Theatre, which brought him a huge income. Every time a play was performed he earned money from published plays and poems which were sold all over England. He received royal support, which meant the king and queen admired his work. He bought multiple properties, including a grand house in Stratford called New Place. At a time when most playwrights struggled to survive, Shakespeare was living a comfortable, wealthy life, but fame and fortune were not enough for him. He wanted something bigger. In 1603 a historic event changed everything. Queen Elizabeth I, who had supported Shakespeare, died. Her successor was King James I. At first no one knew if the new king would appreciate theatre or if he would close the theatres forever, but Shakespeare didn't have to worry. King James loved his work. In fact, he loved Shakespeare's plays so much that he personally invited Shakespeare's acting company to perform for him. And then something incredible happened. King James gave Shakespeare's company a royal title. They were now called the King's Men. This was the highest honor a playwright could receive. It meant they were official actors of the royal court. They were protected and supported by the king himself. They would perform in front of the most powerful people in England. Shakespeare had gone from being a glove maker's son to the most celebrated playwright in England's history. Between 1603 and in 1611 Shakespeare wrote some of his most famous and deepest plays. These were not just stories, they were reflections of life, power, love and loss. King Lear, a heartbreaking story of a father's betrayal; Macbeth, the dark tale of ambition and destruction; The Tempest, a magical story of forgiveness and new beginnings. His writing became darker, more emotional and deeply philosophical because Shakespeare was changing. He was growing older. He had seen fame, fortune, betrayal and loss. His plays became more personal and his characters felt more real than ever before. By 1611 Shakespeare had achieved everything he had ever dreamed of. He was famous, he was rich, he was respected by kings and no William Shakespeare had lived a life beyond imagination. He had gone from a small town boy in Stratford to the most famous playwright in history. He had written tragedies, comedies and histories that changed the way people thought about life, love, power and fate. He had performed for kings and queens and became one of the richest and most respected men of his time. In 1613 Shakespeare made a decision that surprised everyone. He retired. For years he had lived in London writing, acting and directing plays, but deep inside he missed home. He missed the quiet streets of Stratford, he missed the green fields and rivers, and most of all he missed his family. So he packed his things and returned to New Place, his grand house in Stratford. Here he planned to spend the rest of his life in peace. He would wake up early in the morning and walk around his gardens enjoying the beauty of nature. He would sit by the fireplace reading books and thinking about the life he had lived. He would spend time with his daughters Susanna and Judith, talking about life, love and the future. Sometimes visitors from London would come to see him, asking for his advice on plays and poetry. But even though he had retired, his mind was still full of stories. People say that even in his final years he would sit for hours lost in his thoughts, whispering words of poetry to himself. In 1616 something unexpected happened. One day Shakespeare attended a dinner party with his friends. It was a joyful evening. Laughter, wine and conversation filled the room, but soon after Shakespeare fell ill. Some say it was a fever, some say it was a disease caught from the cold weather. No one knows for sure, but within days his health declined rapidly. His family and friends gathered around him, knowing that the greatest writer in history was leaving this world. On April 23, 1616, at the age of 52, William Shakespeare breathed his last breath. The world had lost a genius, but his words would never die. Before his death, Shakespeare wrote a few lines that would be his final words to the world. He knew that after his death people might move his body from his grave, so he wrote an epitaph, a short poem, warning anyone who tried to disturb his rest. Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that bears these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones. Even in death his words were powerful and eternal. When Shakespeare died, Stratford fell silent. People gathered at Holy Trinity Church, the place where he was baptized as a baby, to say their final goodbyes. The church was filled with people, actors, writers, family, friends and simple townsfolk who had known Him since childhood tears were shed, prayers were whispered, and his body was laid to rest in the very town where he was born. No grand monuments, no golden tombs, just a simple grave marked with his own words. But little did the world know this was just the beginning of his legacy. Shakespeare's body may have been buried, but his words refused to die. His plays continued to be performed, his books continued to be read, his name continued to be spoken. Years passed, then decades, then centuries, and yet Shakespeare remained alive in the hearts of people across the world. His works were translated into every language on earth. His stories inspired millions of writers, filmmakers, and poets. His words became a part of everyday speech with phrases like "to be or not to be." All the world's a stage. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. His life was a proof that words have power, power to inspire, power to heal, power to change the world. Even today, over 400 years later, Shakespeare is still everywhere. His plays are performed in theaters across the world. His books are studied in schools and universities. His words appear in movies, songs, and speeches because Shakespeare understood human nature better than anyone else. He wrote about love, betrayal, ambition, jealousy, fate, and dreams, things that every human being can relate to. He showed us that love can be beautiful but also tragic. Romeo and Juliet, power can corrupt even the strongest hearts. Macbeth, betrayal can come from those closest to us. Julius Caesar, life is full of uncertainty and mystery. Hamlet, his stories remind us who we are and who we can become. If Shakespeare were alive today, he would have one message for you: dream big, tell your story, never stop believing in yourself, because he was just a small town boy from Stratford who dared to dream beyond the ordinary, and today his name is written in history forever. William Shakespeare's life may have ended, but his story will never end, and now it is in your hands. His words are yours to read, to learn, and to share with the world. My amazing friends, you have a dream, right? Maybe you want to be a writer, an actor, a speaker, a leader, a creator, someone who leaves a mark on this world. But sometimes fear stops you, people doubt you, you feel like giving up. Let me tell you something powerful today. William Shakespeare was just like you. He was born in a small town. He had no rich family, he had no connections, no one believed he would be famous, but he had one thing, a dream, and that dream changed the world. Now it's your turn. You have a fire inside you, you have a story to tell, you have a voice that matters. Don't let fear stop you, don't let people tell you you can't do it, because the truth is you can. You are stronger than you think, you are greater than you believe, you are one step away from changing your life forever. So my friends, never stop chasing your dreams. Start today, work hard, never give up, and one day, just like Shakespeare, your name will be remembered. Now if this story inspired you even a little bit, then like this video so I know you felt the power of this message. Comment below, tell me what's your dream. Let's inspire each other. Subscribe and hit the bell icon, because we are on a journey of learning, growing, and becoming unstoppable together. My amazing friends, your future is waiting for you. Go and make history, and always remember, it is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. William Shakespeare. And maybe, just maybe, you are the next great storyteller the world is waiting for. See you in the next video. Stay inspired, stay unstoppable.